What's up, y'all? It's 2Will, and I'm going to talk to you guys about bike modifications and the ones that I think that are the most useful for bikes. So let's go this way. So a few of the modifications that you can do for bikes, I mean, motorcycles are pretty similar to cars with the amount of modifications you could do with them. But let me go over the ones that, actually, if you guys have seen the Meat Roxanne video, then you know what kind of modifications I have done on my bike, because I go through it all in there. So just look for the invitation, pause this video, and then go to that one. One of the most common and maybe most useful, and I'll give you a reason why, is your exhaust. And the reason I think it's one of the most useful is because as motorcycle riders, well, first off, let's think of a bike. When you get a bike, and sometimes it's just not the sound that we're looking for. So what the exhaust will do is first off change the sound, and then in some cases will improve the performance of the bike. And what I want to talk about right now is the sound, because another reason that you'd want to change the sound of your motorcycle is to be more heard and noticeable. And that's what a lot of them do when it comes to like slip-ons and everything. When you take off the muffler, then you put this the canister on. And I feel like that's useful, obviously, because the more people hear you, the more that they'll know of your presence. So that's what I'm going to take as number 5. And another one is handlebars. I'm sure a couple of you guys could have guessed that I was going to say that one. But there is a reason why I put handlebars in the top 5. It's because it changes the ergonomics and the feel. And I'm not talking about just slapping like sports type handlebars on a bike like I did. I'm talking about just changing them for your suited riding quality. So let's say that you have an R6 or a CBR and it's kind of too forward for you. You can change the handlebars by either rising them or changing the actual handlebars to better suit you and to make it feel more comfortable to you. And obviously comfort is extremely important on a motorcycle. So those are 2 of my top 5. Another one, I know it's not like a very large modification, but it could be seen as such, is changing your tires. And for an example, so when I got this bike, the tires on this thing were I want to say 190. And for reference, this bike originally comes with 160 on the width of the tire, 160 millimeters, but it had 30 millimeters of like width, and that's just because the fattier rear tire is obviously more popular, and that's what the previous owner thought when he was replacing the tire. So when it comes to tires, I know it's not like a lasting modification because eventually you do have to change them up and they wear out. So I mean, one tire is only going to last you for so long, but the reason I feel like that's an important modification is because of the importance of tires. Because tires vary from all sorts of things that you're trying to do out there. Because obviously there's multiple types of bikes and there's going to be multiple types of tires. Another thing I'm going to give for a mention, I think one of the other most recommended things, at least for certain types of bikes, would be a screen, a windshield. And the reason is so that if you're commuting, I mean, obviously motorcycles, you know how hard the wind factor can be sometimes, and it also goes with the handlebar situation where it's comfort, and the more comfortable you are, the better your reaction times will be when it comes to riding. So that's another one. Keep the cold wind off of you, or any wind at all, especially in highway speeds. I'm actually really considering getting a zero gravity, maybe even like a double bubble or anything like that, because I do a lot of highway riding, and I know how much those take the wind out of the equation when it comes to when the wind's blowing you around, and just for comfort, obviously. Like, to this list, some of you probably have already guessed it. One of another top 5 things is frame sliders. And the reason that it's one of the most common modifications, you could say, to a motorcycle is because of the insurance that it gives you, that if you somehow, for some reason, drop your bike for any reason at all, that for a certain degree you'll be protected by those frame sliders. Your frame sliders, because nobody wants to have a scuffed up bike, and it's a lot less expensive to trade out, to buy new frame sliders than it is to buy a whole new fairing set. It's top 5 popular and or useful modifications that comes to motorcycles. And I mean, for any rider that's looking at this list, I would definitely look into any of these modifications for your bike. I mean, it depends on what kind of bike you have or anything, but I mean, it's really, all of these are time and time proven that they're important enough to motorcycle riders that they modify them quite often. When you get a new bike, you're going to put on